listen, friends and neighbors, if you ever get the chance, come on down and join us here at the Pickin Ranch. 'Cause we'll talk a little, we'll play a lot, sing some good old songs. We'd be mighty proud to have you if you'd like to sing along.
Now, Essex County has a mighty pretty fair. All the smarty fiddlers from the South go there. Elbows flying as they rosin up their bows for the first prize contest in the Georgia Fiddlers Show. Well, there's old Dan Whelan with his whiskers in his ears. He's the kingpin fiddler for nearly 20 years. And Big Tom Sargent with his blue walleye. Little Jimmy Weezer, who can make a fiddle cry. Well, they're all sitting around, spitting high and strutting proud, just tuning up their fiddles as the judges tell the crowd. Well, them that gets the mostest claps win the bestest prize. Well, everyone's a-waiting for the first Tweedledee when in comes a stumbling hillbilly me. Well, I bowed right purty to the judges and the rest. I took a silver dollar from the hole inside my vest. I plunked it on the table. I said, there's my calling card, and anyone that beats me, well, he's got to fiddle hard. Well, old Dan Whelan, he was laughing fit to holler. And little Jimmy Weezer says, there's one dead dollar. And Big Tom Sargent with that yeller toothy grin. But I tucked my little whippoorwill underneath my chin, and I petted it and tuned it till the judges said, begin. Well, Big Tom Sargent was the first in line. You know, he could fiddle all the bugs off a sweet potato vine. He could fiddle down a possum from a mile-high tree. He could fiddle up a whale from the bottom of the sea. And you could hear the hands of spanking as they spanked each other raw when he finished variations on Turkey in the Straw. Little Jimmy Weezer was the next to play. You know, he could fiddle all night and fiddle all day. He could fiddle chills. He could fiddle fever. He could make a fiddle rustle like a lowland river. He could make a fiddle croon like a loving woman. And they clapped like thunder when he finished strumming. Well, next come the ruck of the bobtail fiddlers, the let's go easies and the fair to middlers. Well, they got some claps, and they lost their bicker. They all settled back for some more corn liquor. And the crowd grew tired of their no-account squealing, went up to the center, stepped old Dan Whelan. Well, he fiddled high and he fiddled low. He fiddled and fiddled with that cherry wood bow. He fiddled north, he fiddled south, he fiddled the heart right out of your mouth. He fiddled the wind by a lonesome moon. He fiddled the most almighty tune. He started fiddling like a ghost, but he ended fiddling like a host. When he was finished, the crowd let loose. And I sat there, wondering, well, what's the use? But I stood up pert, and I took my bow, and my fiddle went to my shoulder so. And there wasn't no crowd to get me phased, because I was alone, where I was raised up in the hills, so high it makes you scared, where God lies sleeping with his big white beard. My mother was a whippoorwill pert. My father, he was lazy. But I'm hell broke loose in a new store shirt to fiddle all Georgia crazy. Swing your partner up and down the middle. Sashay now, oh, listen to my fiddle. Flapjack slipping on a red-hot griddle, and hell's broke loose. Hell's broke loose. Fire in the mountains, snakes in the grass. Satan's here about it. Oh, Lordy, let him pass. Go down, Moses. Set my people free. Pop goes the weasel through the old Red Sea. Well, Jonah's sitting on a hickory bough. Up jumps a whale. And where's your prophet now? Rabbit in the pea patch, possum in the pot. Try and stop my fiddle, now my fiddle's getting hot. Sing it from the mountains, slap it from the hills, 'cause I'm flying high as an eagle's quill, and hell's broke loose, hell's broke loose, hell's broke loose in Georgia. Well, there wasn't a sound when I stopped bowing. But somewhere or other, the dawn was crowing. And I thought, you fiddled all night and lost. You're a good hillbilly, but you've been bossed. So I went to congratulate old man Dan. But he put his fiddle into my hands. And that's when the noise of the crowd began.
Hi, my name is Bill Barney, and welcome to my shop here. My business is called Barney's Guitar Service. I do all aspects of fretted instrument repair, from expert neck resetting to refretting. I make nuts and saddles, custom bridges, and do setup work. I got interested in this in the early 90s. I read everything I could on the subject. I ended up going to a school in Phoenix, Arizona called Roberto Venn School of Luthier area, the oldest existing school in the country. They're still around. And got a certificate in guitar making and instrument repair. Came back to Louisville. I ended up moving to Chicago and working for a fella up there for about 6 months, doing all manner of instrument repair, and came back to Louisville and started working for the Guitar Emporium. In 2002, I've started my own business. I'm about to steam the neck off of this D35 here. The reason that I'm going to have to reset the neck is because the angle has changed over the years, creating a higher action than it ought to be. So it's very stiff to play. Generally, what you do when you have high action is you cut the saddle down here. You cut the saddle down here to lower the action. Eventually, there's not enough saddle to cut down anymore, and the proper way to accommodate that is to remove the neck and remove a certain amount of wood here at the heel to allow the neck to set back at the proper angle. Therefore, you get lower action, and you can also make a new taller saddle, which will improve the sound and generally be a much more playable guitar. And what I've done here is I've removed the 15th fret, which is directly over the dovetail joint, and I've drilled 2 holes down into the dovetail joint into the sides of the cavities here through the fret slot. And what I'm going to do here is inject steam down into the dovetail to break the glue bond, so I'll be able to remove the neck easily. Also, what I've had to loosen the fingerboard extension here from the top. I have a heating blanket that I apply here, and that also softens the glue joint, and I'm able to work a spatula under here to separate this part of the neck from the top. And so also what I've done before anything is I've created a center line here, so when I go to reset the neck, I'm going to make sure it goes exactly center, and so your strings aren't going to go too far from the treble or the bass side. So we're ready to let off some steam here. Basically, I've got a jig set up here that's going to help me remove this neck. There's a screw down here that's applying pressure to the heel, and as I start injecting steam down into the dovetail, I'll be adjusting the tension on this thumb screw right here to help push the neck out of the body. Well, right now we're just waiting to get some steam, and once I get enough steam coming out, I'll inject it's basically a hose with a needle on it, and steam will come from here, obviously. I will be injecting the steam through the holes that I drilled previously. I've got some wet rags along the side of the fingerboard to help protect the finish on the top. So this is good. I'm injecting steam in the one hole, and I'm getting the other hole acts as an exit route for the steam, so that's good. It's starting to go, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the steam. And it'll probably come right out now. There we go. That's how you take the neck out. It came out just like it's supposed to. It came out very clean. No finish damage whatsoever. The only thing left to do is to clean up the tenon and the mortise and the body and let it dry. And once it's dry, we'll be ready to reset it again.
I sit here alone on the banks of the river. The lonesome wind blows, waters roll high. I hear a voice call out in the darkness. I sit here alone. Oh, the waters roll high on the river at midnight. I sit on the shore to weep and to cry. The woman I love, she left me this morning. But no one to love. We met there that night on the banks of the river. Sat there holding hands and making our vows. We'd never part and be happy forever. But a new love she's found. The waters roll high on the river at midnight. I sit on the shore to weep and to cry. The woman I love, she left me this morning with no one to love. Kiss me goodnight, with no one to love, or kiss me good night.
Way up in the mountains, yes, way up in the hills, there used to be a mountain man, we called him Fiddlin' Will. Now he could play most anything, and some say he could sing. And one thing that he liked to do best was sawing on them strings. So get out your fiddle and rosin up your bow. Look at old Will, he's patting his toe. We'll make music till the rafters ring. Old man picking and a song on a string. had a shindig and they all had victuals to eat. They always had to wait on Will for the frolic to be complete. When he come down from the mountaintop, all the gals begin to sway. Sometimes he'd play that old five string until the break of day. So get out your banjo, tighten up the high, tell all the young folks to get inside. We'll make music till the rafters ring, old man picking and a song on a string. So roll up your rug and kick up your heels. We'll dance all night, the Virginia reel. We'll make music till the rafters ring. Old man picking and a song on a string. Dee-diddly-I-do,